We also know that he will try to invoke the Alien Enemies Act, which would essentially give the federal government the power, the authority to deport, to detain any non-US citizen that they believe is deemed from an enemy country. We know from Operation Wetback that they literally packed hundreds of people into trains, planes, ships, and literally just dumped them in Mexico. What Stephen Miller has also told us is that they are actively designing new militarized giant detention centers where they would pack all these families. And one more thing that I think is important, I think a lot of people believe that we're talking about mass deportation plans that would just sort of affect undocumented immigrants. That's not true. There are 22 million people that live in mixed status families.
So the American would be deported too. That's what Tom Homan said.
American families will be deported, will be separated. If we were morally outraged in 2018, when we saw those families being deported and separated at the border, we're about to see that at a mass scale in the interior and with American families.
What I don't understand is that why are Democrats so mad and despise Trump for his policies when Barack Obama did the exact same thing, but he was praised for it? Bro, make that make sense. Take a look.
How many illegal immigrants did Barack Obama deport in his 8 years as president?
Oh, I don't know.
Have a guess.
No clue. I mean, I know it was a lot, but I don't know the exact number.
Have a guess.
I really don't know.
The answer is over 3 million. He was known as deporter-in-chief by Mexicans.
Yes,
he
read
deported way more than any president in history. Who dropped the most bombs in a calendar year in American history?
Oh, come on. President Barack Obama.
Barack Obama,
Yeah.
right? Who got elected in 08-09 on shutting down Guantanamo Bay? Because as a former lawyer, he believed it was an illegal institution.
President
Barack
Obama.
Obama.
Yeah.
What is still open today?
Guantanamo Bay?
Correct, right? The general thing is Obama angel, Trump devil. But if you actually apply the scrutiny that we give Trump, put it this way, if Trump had deported 3 million people, you think you guys wouldn't know that answer? Of course you would.
You can still be deported from the U.S. despite being a legal permanent resident. It happened to me, and I'm going to tell you how it could happen to you or your family members. When you receive your permanent legal residence, I think it's misleading for it to be labeled permanent because it's not permanent. It's very conditional, and you have to renew it every so often. In my case, I had committed crimes of moral turpitude while I had my green card, and because of that, I became deportable under immigration law. Certain crimes that you commit make it so that the government can petition to take away your green card. In my case, I had committed felony fraud. Now, it doesn't have to necessarily be felony fraud. There are many crimes that could be considered possibly like a misdemeanor in criminal court, but under immigration law, if they fit certain standards, they can make you deportable. So it is a common misconception that if you have papers, you're safe. Not always. And everything that's going on, I was reported during the first administration. I was considered a documented immigrant. Documented immigrants with any type of criminal record will also be placed on the chopping block.
So you came here, got a green card, then committed a felony, and you expected to stay in a country that was extremely generous to welcome you in with open arms. Then you broke their laws, and I don't give a shite if you are a big booty Latina. Sweetheart, I am so glad they deported your ass.
Haram.
My Asian brother from another mother, what do we have to say about this?
Good day, folks. You know what pisses me off the most is that the people that came to this country and want a good life here and want to become an American, and yet they're out there waving their fucking flag, protesting this and that, all that shit. If you are legal, what the fuck do you have to worry about? Unless you do some dumb shit and you worry about getting deported. Okay? People like me came here legally through the process. We're Americans. Okay? We love this country. We love the flag, the American flag, the America. The red, white, and blue. Okay? We don't care about our flag. Because we left that shit behind. Okay? You dumb son of a bitch do some dumb shit with your flags. You might well take that flag and shove it up your ass and go back where you come from. Motherfucker. If I see you on the road waving your flag, I will call ICE. Because I get $750 each, bitch.
This Ling Ling, this Chinaman, this dumpling, my brother from another mother, is more patriotic than Americans born in this country. Now, I want to show you guys how twisted, how dark this really gets. Take a look.
Rio Grande Valley says since Trump took office, some days they haven't had any migrants released to them by Border Patrol at the Humanitarian Respite Center in downtown McAllen. And although they have received over $7 million in FEMA funds the last fiscal year, Sister Pimentel says she is not using the money unless she has more people to help.
Our numbers are basically almost to zero. You know, we do have 3 families that maybe one day arrive and the next day nobody, and then the next day maybe one family. So it's very uncertain right now as to who we're receiving, you know, and how many. And so those funds are subject to those because we have to report it according to that number that every single individual has. And so if we don't have families, then we don't spend money.
But wait! There's more!
If you take, for example, all the funding for the migrant hotels, the president issued an executive order. Hey, we need to stop taking taxpayer money and paying for luxury hotels for illegal immigrants, which makes no sense. Like, so obviously, people do not want their tax dollars going to fund high-end hotels for illegals, and yet they were still doing that even as late as last week. And so, you know, we went in there and we're like, this is in violation of the presidential executive order. It needs to stop. So what we're doing here is one of the biggest functions of the DOGE team is just making sure that the presidential executive orders are actually carried out.
As fellow Americans, you, the taxpayer, should be absolutely infuriated, because what this should tell you, that the Democrats would rather choose illegal criminals, terrorists, Al-Qaeda, hijackers, bombers over the American citizens. Bro, make that make sense.
Us to try to identify them in such a way that they would qualify for long-term Social Security disability. Now,
what?
Yeah. And long-term Social Security disability is for life.
Yeah.
So if they get identified and qualify for long-term Social Security disability, they are as good as set up for life for medical treatment.
That doesn't sound like a refugee to me. Just being honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like somebody who's planning on staying here.
Yeah,
a refugee
right.
stays until the problem's over and then goes home.
Well, that's right. And so they instructed us to try to identify, to try to get the client, because once they arrive here, they're now called clients.
They're called clients.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because clients pay.
Sure.
See?
Sure. I'm starting to
so,
see where this is leading here.
So they told us that we needed to talk to the client and ask them if they'd had any headaches, recurring headaches, or any lower back problems. Excuse me, anything that would qualify them for Social Security long-term disability.
Wait. So let me get this straight. Part of the screening is supposed to be, are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever?
Right.
No. Okay, good, you can come in.
Yeah.
You get on the airplane, are you sick, maimed, injured, whatever? Yes. Good, so we can give you disability.
Correct.
What?
Yes.
This is insanity.
Yes, it is insanity.
But in order to get Social Security disability benefits, don't you need a Social Security number?
Well, we were instructed in the meeting that one of the first things we were supposed to do was sign them up for Social Security. Yeah.
Wait. This is unbelievable. So they come over here and they get a Social Security number.
Right.
They become legal.
Correct.
Are you pulling my leg?
No, I'm not. And then after we processed them for a Social Security card, then we were to process them for a U.S. passport.
No, you're not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's about the time I kind of decided, okay, I was done. I've heard everything I want to know. I was so angry about this, that they would receive a U.S. passport. It just... You know, I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that we were giving these people Social Security cards and U.S. passports and free medical, free housing, free food, free everything.
Yeah, but the thing that bothers me, because the food we can recoup from, And the money irritates me, but we can earn it back and we can stop the program or whatever it is. But once you give somebody a Social Security number and you give them what's considered globally the golden ticket, which is a U.S. passport,
Right.
that is beyond comprehension that we're doing this.
That's right.
Do bureaucrats know this is happening?
Well, interestingly enough, no, they don't. A lot of governors are unaware of how many refugees have come into their state, where they're located, under what conditions they've arrived. And I believe this is intentional. Now, we do know that the governor of Texas and the governor of Tennessee have both stopped this, and they're refusing to take any more refugees. In fact, the federal government has filed a lawsuit against both of those states because they're refusing to take any more refugees.
How dare you keep your people safe?
Right.
But, okay, so let's just say all the states are saying we want to pull out of this refugee resettlement program from the federal government. Then they're fine, right? There's no other way the refugees are getting in?
Well, no. The state can assert that they no longer want to receive refugees, and then the federal government says, all right. And so then they start implementing a program called the Wilson Fish program. And Wilson Fish simply bypasses the sovereignty of that state. In other words, the state no longer processes the refugees. That means, in plain English, you no longer get to know how many are coming in, when they're coming in, where they're going, how much money is being spent on them, whether they're diseased or not diseased. You've lost all control over the entire situation, and as a sovereign state, you've relinquished that. And so Wilson Fish comes in then, and all of the federal monies that are set aside for this program bypass the state and go to third-party entities. And that would be something like Catholic Charities or Jewish Vocational Services. So it would bypass the state entirely, and they would take over the entire process of processing the refugees.
That's crazy.
It is crazy. And as a U.S. citizen and as a citizen of the sovereign state of Missouri, I am not in favor of that. I think we need to maintain our sovereignty just like we would in the United States. You know, honestly, we are first a citizen of the state of Missouri because we are a sovereign state. And then we're a citizen of the United States of America. But our first sovereignty and citizenship is to our state. And a lot of people don't realize that. So in order for us to maintain the health and welfare and the security of our borders, we must know who's coming and going.
Yeah, you have to.
Right.
You have to. And FUNU doesn't work for me.
FUNU doesn't work for me either.
And giving them a Social Security number and a passport actually makes this problem worse, not better.
Correct.
Have we been placed at risk? I mean, you mentioned that this is an invasion. Are we at risk?
I believe we are at risk, Josh, because when they come in, we're urged to compatriate them with fellow refugees, those who have come in before them. We are urged to locate other communities of refugees from the same country of origin, the same language, the same culture as those who are arriving. And so when they come in, you know, and we have had Syrians come in, and we know Syrians are on the list of those 7 countries that have been banned. And so we've received Syrians here in Missouri.
Even after the ban?
Yes.
What?
Yes. And so these Syrians are coming in, and we know that they are coming from a country of origin that has malevolent intent toward us as a nation. And we now know they're not being vetted, and we now know that not only are they coming from a malevolent country, or a country that has malevolent intent, and we now know they're not vetted, we're giving them support, and we're giving them a passport.
What name do they put on the passport if their name on the thing is FUNU?
I don't know.
Can they just pick a name?
The more I conduct further investigation, speculation, and dig up information, bro, the more pissed off I get. Because insanity is when illegal refugees get 3,874 American dollars in federal assistance, while Social Security checks average $1,200 a month. Now let me get this straight. 1, you bring in refugees, presumably under the asylum program. 2, then you get them a social security number. 3, then they get a passport before becoming a citizen. 4, then they get social security disability payments for the rest of their lives. 5, then they get housing, healthcare, food stamps, and other goodies. 6, then they vote Democrats for the rest of their lives. DOGE needs to shut this shit down.
And you people still don't get it. You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump, black Trump supporter. Voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this. Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me, I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we need Elon. That's why we got Elon, to help shrink it. Look what he's doing for the USAID. They're dropping their workforce from 10,000 to 300. Black History Moment. Black History Moment. Every last black that's on television seem to be all sucking off the Democrat teat. All of them give the same talking point, the same concerns, all Democrat approved. All of you Democrat approved. Well, Donald Trump, he really ain't helping black people. He really ain't helping black people. You brag one moment black people didn't support Donald Trump. So why are you upset Donald Trump ain't supporting black folk? You can't have it both ways, but he is. What Donald Trump is doing, he's eliminating the, are you a DEI hire or are you a hire? Yes, and people have a right to say that. I'm enjoying every single bit of this. Friday, I'm loving it. Trump kicking butt. You don't like it? Guess what? You didn't vote for Trump. We're out here protesting. We're protesting those. Did you vote for Donald Trump? No. So why am I surprised that you out here protesting Trump? You didn't vote for him. So of course you're not going to like it. But as for people like me, I'm loving it. Enjoy your Friday.
Now to the Democrats who say, we didn't vote for this. Well, shit. 77 million Americans did, and we won. End of story. And if you don't like it, you can always grab your things and move out. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, that's it for today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe.